Just because I live in Bullitt County, I live next door to a lot of newspapers that talk about Miss Roby from time to time. We're very honored to have her because she has been in the hot seat in Montgomery. She has been on the city council up there for numerous years. She has been when Bobby was there, and so she's got first-hand experience against her opponent as far as knowing each other. But we hope that you will give her a warm reception because this is our new Senate candidate. I'm sorry. U.S. House. Excuse me. U.S. House.
If it's okay, so I can try to make eye contact with you, I'm just going to move a little bit. But I just want to say thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Betty. Thank you for what you currently do on the state board, and thank you for your willingness to run to serve the people of this great state. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and to each of you who have taken time out of your busy lives to be here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that you're here in this room right now. Because being in this room right now, you're saying, I'm fed up, I've had enough, and I want to be a part of getting our country back on track. And so, the thanks is to you, so you all just applauded each other. Listen, this is what I want to do. I would like to take a moment just to share with you 4 points. This is my roadmap for a better America. And it didn't come from me, it came from you. Over the past year and 4 months or so that I've been running for this seat, this is what I've heard from you are the most important issues to not just Central and Southeast Alabama, but to our country. We're going to talk about that for a few minutes. These are what I have heard testimonials all across the 16 counties. And that's what we need out of a representative. I don't know about you, I'm sure we're going to agree on this, but it's time that Congress stops lecturing us
Amen.
About what our needs are and starts listening to us
Amen.
About what our needs are. So 4 points, and then I'd like to take the remainder of the time to hear from you. And when I say hear from you, you can ask me a question, you can stand up and tell me what's on your mind, whatever you want to do. But just very briefly, you know, when we elect someone to represent us, whether it be on the local level, on the city council, the county commission, the local school board, on the state level, or on the national level, we are asking that that person represent our interests. And they, number one, like I already said, have to listen to us in order to know how to best advocate. But we don't need someone who can just identify what the issues are. All of us in this room here tonight could list off what the issues are. We need strong leadership that's willing to offer solutions to the problems. And that is what we are lacking. Number one, jobs. Where are the jobs? And I'm going to have to refer to a note because this is important. President Obama promised that he would save or create 2.5 million jobs by 2011. The reality, in Alabama, we have lost 90,180 jobs. What is happening in Washington is not working. Stimulus, bailouts, this uncertainty that is being created right now with the health care law, which, by the way, has nothing to do with health care reform and has everything to do with government takeover of our lives.
That's right.
Cap and trade, better known as cap and tax, where the federal government is going to require us to pay them every time we turn our lights on. This is why the private sector, you that own businesses, are not creating jobs. There's so much uncertainty. You don't know what the federal government's going to do to you next. This is a problem. Now, I would say to you, number one, we've got to get money back into the hands of those who have the ability to create jobs.
That's right.
We need a more simple tax system that last year alone, $500 cost alone, just to comply with our current tax system. So we need a simpler tax system. We need leadership that's committed to tax reform. We need lower taxes. Let me tell you what I believe. I believe in small, limited government. I believe in lower taxes. I believe that we should live within our means.
That's right.
You know, when you and I don't have enough at home, we tighten our belts and we make it work. And we should require the same from those representing us on the state level and on the national level. I'll give you an example when it comes to jobs. I was meeting the other day with some franchise owners of Pizza Huts, Taco Bells, and they were explaining to me about how this health care bill is affecting their ability to grow jobs. That one Pizza Hut on average may make about $17,000 a year once all the bills are paid. This health care law is going to require, they're going to have to pay the penalty. They can't afford to do what this health care law requires them to do. The penalty is going to be about $20,000. Right there, one small business shuts its doors, and that many jobs are lost because of this job-killing health care bill. Look, and I can go through it. There are commonsensical solutions to health care. We need to use free market principles, allow us to buy our health care across state lines just like we do our life insurance that would drive down costs. What about medical liability reform? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Health savings accounts where individuals could take personal responsibility for their health care and the amount of money that they spend on it. None of that is included in Washington's bill. And like Ms. Peters alluded to, the speaker herself said, let's just pass it and find out what's in it. Well, we're finding out as businesses are closing their doors and downsizing their number of employees. We need real solutions when it comes to jobs. Get the money back into the hands of those who have the ability to do so. The 2001-2003 tax cuts, Bush tax cuts that we are all going to see expire come January 1. Again, this is devastating to our economy. We are going to see family farms that are going to close down because they're land wealthy but cash poor and don't have the ability to pay the federal government what's necessary in order to carry on. Your small business that you may want to pass down to the next generation, same thing. So we need leadership in Washington that is willing to stand up against this type of job-killing legislation. I have signed a pledge that if given the opportunity to represent you in Congress, I will vote to repeal the health care law. And you may say, but wait, it'll just be vetoed. Well, you're right. But Congress holds the purse strings, and we don't have to fund it until 2020. Number two, we need a smaller, leaner, more limited government. Washington's addiction to spending is mortgaging away. I have two little people at my house, Margaret and George. And they're the top two reasons why my husband and I decided to run for this seat. Congress is mortgaging away their future and their children's future. They're not going to be able to pay for it. 46 cents of every dollar spent in Washington is borrowed. We have got to elect leadership that is willing to stand up to Washington's addiction to spending. I'll give you an example based on my record so you know where I stand. Everybody says cut spending, cut spending, cut spending, but please don't cut me. And this has been my experience on the Montgomery City Council. You know, by law, we're required to balance our budget. The mayor has to present a balanced budget to the council for approval. Well, in 2009, we faced some huge shortfalls, like many cities, municipalities all across the state and communities. And we were left with $0 in the reserve fund. So we had to come up with ways to cut spending. We cut spending in the city of Montgomery by $9 million. We put $3 million away in the reserve